What's up everyone, we're back with another POV meets history style video. A few weeks ago we spent a couple of days camping in Port Hope, which is on the eastern side of Michigan's thumb. The last day we were there, I got out of the tent before the sun rose and went for a super long walk around town shooting photos and videos. I actually went further than I did in the Calumet video, which was really far, so I'm quite excited to show you guys this video. I'm going to start this video with a little bit of background information about Port Hope, and then I'm going to dive into the histories of a few of my favorite buildings in town. Without further ado, let's get started. In the 1850s, William Stafford and a group of investors purchased a large sum of land bordering Lake Huron to begin a lumbering business. Port Hope became one of the hubs of the lumbering industry in the Thumb, surviving the 1871 fire, but after the 1881 fire, most of the trees were gone and the sawmills closed up shop. With a blank canvas to work with, towns that were sustained by timber either disappeared or transitioned into small farming communities. In addition to agriculture, Port Hope would become a large producer of flour and other milled goods. A rail line came to town in 1903, enabling farmers to easily send their goods to market in larger communities like Port Huron. Today, the railroads are gone and Port Hope is a quaint town on the shores of the lake. It's a popular destination for campers, motorcyclists, and those like me who love to dive into the interesting histories of Michigan's small towns. At the turn of the century, Richard Herman built a two-story hotel in downtown Port Hope. It was later enlarged and became the Lakeview Hotel in 1908. Today, it's the Port Hope Hotel restaurant with its famous Leroy Burger, an 18-ounce hamburger. The Port Hope Masonic Lodge No. 138 was built in 1867 with meeting spaces for local Masons and the general public. A fire minorly damaged the building in 1919, and today it's used as the Rubicon Township Hall. The Melligan store, or Agriculture Hall as it was called when it was built, was constructed in 1884 by John Melligan to sell farming machinery. Additions were completed in 1886 and 1903, and it was most recently used as an antique store. Dr. R.C. Ogilvie built a drugstore in 1875, eventually moving it a few parcels down the street to make way for the building that bears his name today. Frank Schlichting built his harness shop next door in 1903, and both buildings are still standing. William R. Stafford moved to Port Hope from Lexington in 1857 to harvest the area's timber. With the revenue from his lumber, salt, and agriculture businesses, he called for a home to be built for his family. Work began in 1866 and was completed within 2 years. Unlike most historic buildings in the Thumb, the William R. Stafford House survived both the fires of 1871 and 1881. The Stafford House is arguably the most opulent in the Thumb and is a mainstay of the community to this day. Frederick H. Stafford moved to Port Hope in 1874 to work with his distant cousin William. He would eventually marry William's daughter, Elizabeth, which is a little bit weird but not all that uncommon for the time period. In 1886, they built a house directly next to the William R. Stafford House, and it too remains a staple of Port Hope. Located just behind the William R. Stafford House sits the Isaac Leuty House. Leuty was Stafford's father-in-law and a bookkeeper for one of his many businesses. The home was built in 1874 and is much more modest when compared to the other two homes we just went over. The original St. John's Lutheran Church was built just after the 1871 fire that ravaged the Thumb. The present church was built in 1899, and it still stands and operates today. A school was built to accommodate the growing number of Lutheran children in the area, originally built in 1883. The school was demolished in 1953, and the new building served as a school until it closed in 2017. First Methodist Episcopal Church, also known as the Red Church, was built between 1880 and 1882. In 1936, the Methodist Church combined with the Presbyterian Church, and the Red Church ceased to be used as a place of worship. It was used for gym and shop classes, community meetings, weddings, and social events. Today, it sits abandoned, and I have to admit, it's one of my favorite churches that I've ever come across. The pews sit askew, ornate window details have been removed and sit within the sanctuary, and portions of the exterior look tattered. It's a place that demands your attention whenever you're near it, and I truly hope that someone can save this beautiful church. William R. Stafford built 6 homes to house the workers for his lumbering, salt, and agricultural businesses in the 1870s. The blue townhouse is the last of those still standing, and it was most likely built for a worker with a wife and children. Although Port Hope was initially settled in the 1850s, there was no rail line into town until decades later. Before the Flint and Pere Marquette Railroad extended its line from Harbor Beach to Port Hope in 1903, all goods had to be transported via ship or horse-drawn cart. In 1904, the Port Hope Depot opened, and it serviced the end of the line. It's been decades since the tracks were last used, and they've since been removed. William Stafford built an elevator along the line to load products from his mill, both of which have now been torn down. The Thumb became a farming destination after the 1881 fire, as there was no more timber to harvest. The soil here is mostly a mixture of clay, sand, and gravel, which is adaptable to a wide variety of crops. The Muhlenthaler elevator was built in 1906 to rival the Stafford elevator, and over the years it was updated and improved. Since the tracks were torn up, the buildings have seen better days. In 1971, the complex was purchased by Harold McTaggart and operated as Thumb Farm Service, but that has since closed. The area feels a bit like a ghost town, although the concrete silos appear to still be used occasionally. Today, Port Hope serves as a relaxing hideaway for its residents, thousands of vacationers each year, and those from nearby towns and census-designated places. 2 of the biggest events each year are the 4th of July Parade and ABC Day, a family-friendly festival. Port Hope is one of the most unique towns I've been to in Michigan, mostly due to the percentage of historic buildings that still remain here relative to its small size. With a population of 293 at the 2020 census, Port Hope is the second smallest incorporated community in Huron County, with 18 more residents than Owendale. Although many people stop in Port Hope for the antique shops, gas station, or for a bite to eat, the most popular destination in town is the water. The main drag is located roughly a quarter mile from Lake Huron, and you can see glimpses of water as you meander through town. In 1916, W.R. Stafford passed away at nearly 90 years old. His heirs donated 6 acres of waterfront land to become a park, and in 1919, Stafford County Park was born. Over the years it has been upgraded and new amenities have been added, but the highlight is still Lake Huron in all of its splendor. We first came to Port Hope because of this park, and I'm extremely grateful that it brought us here. If you want to learn more about the village, check out the Port Hope Historical Society and the book Portrait of a Village by Dean Smith, Jim Hunter, and Deborah Roverty. Even for such a small town, there's a ton of history to dive into and well more than I was able to cover in this video. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel as I plan to make more videos like this very soon. For more information on Port Hope, the Thumb, Michigan in general, and how to plan your next trip around our great state, check out MI Roadtrip. We've created an interactive map that's great for planning road trips because it has detailed information and photos about every single location so you know what to expect when you arrive. I'll put a link to that down in the description. Until next time, enjoy the trip.